Welcome back to this special edition of the show. Coming to you from New York, we're discussing eco-entrepreneurism and the growing concern about climate change with billionaire Sir Richard Branson, who built his Virgin brand into a renowned international business empire and is now getting ready to expand it into outer space. Before we get back to the questions, we have the results of the instant poll we conducted in our chat room where we asked, would you travel into space? Now, 20% of you said absolutely at any price. 43% said sure if the price is right. 25% said no way. And 11% said I'm not sure. Now, don't forget, it's not a scientific poll, but it gives us an idea of how the viewers are thinking in the live station chat room. Before we get onto the space issue, Sir Richard, let me ask, well, what Juliana was saying from Kenya just before. I think her concern was the situation in Africa, a lot of poverty in Africa, highlighting issues for the poor, when, of course, you're looking at also some very, very much developing world issues, or developed world issues, such as space travel. And I think one thing I should raise is that you also held a fast. You fasted on Monday to highlight the plight of the people in Darfur. When it comes to dealing with the serious problems we have on the planet, how do you balance them with the need to also move forward for the developed world?
Well, it is a balancing act. I mean, for instance, in Africa right now, we're setting up a Centre for Disease Control for Africa, which it hasn't got at the moment. You know, America's got a Centre for Disease Control, Europe's got a Centre for Disease Control, Africa doesn't. There are lots of great organisations doing lots of wonderful things there, but there isn't any coordination. And obviously through the elders, we're trying to look at countries that get forgotten. I mean, Sudan is not forgotten, but Somalia, for instance, is forgotten. You know, Somalia is a state that is effectively no longer a state. It's fallen apart as a result of the invasion that took place from Ethiopia with America's backing, and it's a ghastly mess. You know, so you know, situations like that have got to be looked at, and we mustn't have, you know, forgotten countries.
We have a question from Dubai. Ahmed, what would you like to ask?
Thank you for taking my call, first of all, and Sir Richard Branson, it's an honor to speak with you. You're a big businessman and a source of inspiration of many young entrepreneurs, people like me who are Emirati, and people from around the world. But one of the things that is really inspiring is the way you manage to balance your work life and playing hard as well. So my question is how do you manage to balance that and making sure that you do groundbreaking things, not only in the business world, but also showing the world that there's a lighter side of business and how to make a difference in the world. So thank you, Riz Khan, and thank you, Sir Richard Branson, as well, for taking my question.
No, thank you. And I think it's a good question, because I think you know, too many people who run companies are apt to take themselves far too seriously. I mean, for instance, if there's a party for their staff, they'll sit in the corner, you know, sipping their sherry, talking to their fellow directors, instead of, you know, letting their hair down, you know, being the first into the swimming pool, pulling everybody else in, and you know, generally making sure that everybody can have a great evening. They can go back saying, you know, what fun we had. And I mean, that's, you know, sounds superficial, but it's that kind of spirit that I think's important if you're running a company. So, you know, great believer in playing hard and working hard. And I think if I'm having a good time and I'm smiling and I'm happy, I can make sure, hopefully, that everybody else can.
Now, Virgin Galactic, we mentioned this, that you set that up about 5 years ago to actually make space travel more commercial, more available to the general public. Now, do you see it as a potential escape route for us in case we're pretty much destroying the planet and have nothing left here down the road?
There are people like Stephen Hawking who've been pushing us and urging us to go ahead with our space program, because they believe that one day, inevitably, a meteorite, you know, might hit Earth, and the same thing that could happen to us as happened to the dinosaurs. So, you know, so it is a good idea to try to planetarize other places in space. It's not, to be honest, the principal reason for what we're doing, although one day it could be a byproduct of what we're doing. You know, there's a serious, you know, I've always wanted to go to space. I saw the moon landing. I thought one day I'd be able to go into space, and I waited for NASA and waited for the Russians to enable, you know, the general public to go into space, and it wasn't going to happen. So, so I thought we'd pull our finger out and try to make it happen.
We've got a viewer question here from Jeddah in Saudi Arabia, and Ayman Musani wrote in saying, when do we travel to the moon? Are all the arrangements set for the launch? I should also add to that, from our live station chat room, a viewer, as we go out live, is on the chat room saying, will anyone traveling into space get space miles? Well, I guess sky miles or space miles equivalent. Star miles.
Star miles, that's good. Well, Virgin Atlantic is already offering you to collect miles to go into space on Virgin Galactic, and obviously people who fly on Virgin Galactic will be able to get star miles to fly on our planes back on Earth. Now the first stage, I mean, since it's the questions from Saudi Arabia, I'm delighted to say that Abu Dhabi are building a spaceport in the region, and that will be ready, I suspect, in a couple of years' time. Prince Mansour, who from Abu Dhabi, has had great vision for his country. He's got the Grand Prix there. Now he's got a spaceport there, and is trying to turn the region into a place where events like this can take place. So hopefully people from Saudi Arabia can pop across the border and go up. Initially, our flights will be suborbital flights, and then orbital flights, and then hopefully one day moon flights, or maybe Mars flights in the distant future.
We've got a call on the line from London. I think it's Max has been holding for a while. Go ahead, please.
All right. My name is Matt. My question to Richard is, I want to thank him very much for the enormous prospects of us flying into space. But my worry is we have enough problems in the world, particularly in the third world. I mean, there are massive potentials there that are being untapped. Why can't we think of diverting some of those resources there to tap some of those resources there and try and invest and improve a lot of people in the third world?
I think we touched on this to some degree, didn't we? With the,
yeah, I believe in doing more than one thing. So through space travel, we can put up affordable satellites for the first time ever. I mean, Virgin Galactic launches from 50,000 feet up the satellites instead of being ground-based launches. So, for instance, every single university and school in the third world would be able to have their own satellite. Weather, checking on what's happening with farms and so on. So there will be benefits for the third world. But anyway, the resources we make from ventures like this do go into our foundation to try to tackle things in the third world.
Well, there, unfortunately, I have to stop you. It was great to spend some time with you. Thanks for your input.
Thank you.
Right. Nice and thank you for being with us too. And don't forget, you can follow what we're doing on iTunes. This week it's our discussion with NATO Secretary General Anders Fogh Rasmussen on the war in Afghanistan. On the next show, we speak with veteran American diplomat Thomas Pickering. Join us for that. We'll see you next time.